Well, they'll be calling you a radical. So as you know, I've spent a tremendous amount of my life at Pacific Grove, California. It's the greatest place in the world. But anyway, so this is the propaganda media. Now, you talk to people in Pacific Grove, they don't quote this kind of bullshit. But this is the media on the butterflies. Oh, it's so encouraging, so great, whatever. Go talk to somebody in Pacific Grove. Go talk to them, and they live to be very old. And the counters, at the museum where they're quoting, that's where I catch the bus. Those videos with my grandsons playing on top of well, that's the place. I mean, that museum's so spectacular, by the way. The library right across the car, and that's my place. That's my spot. That's where I do all my work. That's it. So the butterfly counters, you can read through it. Headlines, oh, feel good fairy tale, so encouraging, so great. We've actually counted some. This is what we call a dead cat bounce. I mean, it's unbelievable. Oh, just like here in KSL in Utah. Oh, we got a weather cyclone bomb. They're using all over NorCal. They're using all over cyclone. No, what are you talking about? We got a normal weather pattern going in October for a change. This isn't some heavy, dramatic freaking... What are they talking about? Using weather as propaganda. They'll use anything for propaganda. They got me so kettled, so deep. Nobody's been kettled. I invented the term internet kettling. Nobody's internet kettled their shadow banned harder than Kevin Blanche. Nobody. I mean, it's incredible what they've done. Why I'm fighting for my life with cancer. So you read through it, and then it comes down. The return over the last while is 0.0001. What? Now listen to these numbers. So pre-Fukushima, they were counting 300,000, which is a nightmare number. They should have millions, but 300,000. It's like the tide pool work that I do right there. There's a gem. I found some starfish. The best tide pool in the world's right there. Shh! Don't tell anyone. What's that smell? It's a dead whale on Carmel. So this is the feel-good fairy tale. So just like when you're buying uranium stocks, hey, this is for all you fools. We call that a dead cat bounce in the finance world. Do you know that over 40% of all nuclear reactors in the world have been shut down post-Fukushima? Did you know over 40% in the United States? We had 104. We're down in the 60s right now. And if it wasn't for belts, it'd be... And so, well, I was arguing with a professor yesterday about this. Well, what are you talking about, demand? Did you just hear me? Did you just not hear me? Can you read my lips? 40% of all nuclear reactors have shut down. What are you talking about, demand? The demand's down fucking 40%. Unarguable. Oh, build new ones. One's gone online in the United States. It took 44 years at Watts Bar. The nightmare of Oakland, Georgia is delayed over and over and over and over and over again. TikTok, Diablo Canyon. We had an earthquake right there, PG, yesterday. That's my spot. I should post this picture. He's famous in Pacific Grove. That photograph with him and my grandsons. What a photograph. Oh my God, this year. And he and I are friends, and he's like an icon of Monterey. Pacific. That's in Pacific Grove. I mean, that's our place. So let's go over the numbers. So now it's like well counting. We're going to go out for Christmas, we're going to go to Maui, and we're going to play a harp and count well. The head of the well counting thing, he and I used to argue with, he died of brain cancer, at 51 years old. So most of the people that are counting out there are so distracted with selfishness, and they're, it's like we're counting wells at Oil Point in Santa Barbara. There's no young well counters. We're all freaking old, and our eyes are going. And we're supposed to say, oh, there's that one, and I'm the young one. And I'm not so young. And they have sonar. They know the number. So, oh, it's so great. They organize at the museum, which is the greatest museum in the world, by the way. Pacific Grove is the greatest place in the world. I'll be there again soon. I do my work there, as historic work. I will quote Steve at the Monterey Aquarium. Kevin, we used to argue with you and whatever. I got to tell you, we owe you such an apology. You've shot the #1 footage of California hares ever recorded in history. You've done the best type of work in history. You know, Doc Ricketts on Palco, on chemo. I thought he was a, you know, Julia, that's who they promote her in Pacific Grove. We don't talk about Julia enough, do we? She called Ricketts a poacher. You know, I work with Annabelle Ricketts, which is, she called herself Doc Ricketts Bastardette Chow, which we know for a fact she has DNA. I always go visit with Doc Ricketts, put my arm around him there. So the butterfly counts. Dead cow bounce. Oh, we didn't count any last year. It was 2020. It was COVID. It was COVID. I mean, come on. Nobody was out counting. They're saying they counted 0. Oh, I'll encourage you. So we got this giant bounce. So you drop 99.999%, and then you go up that much. That's a 100% increase in 1 year. Liars don't figure, figures don't lie. Liars figure. So, and we're going to feel good fairy tale. Just like, oh, the tadpoles are coming back. Remember those? And I'm like, bullshit. An aquarian said that. And it regurgitated all over media. An aquarian who didn't do any work drove up and down. It made media everywhere. And then come to find out, she was in her, you know. And then there was another one. They come back and it was inside of a lab where she was trying to reproduce. And, I mean, but it regurgitated all over. San Francisco Gate, every media in California picked it up. Reuters picked it up. But yeah, here's Kevin Blanch walking the entire coast, documenting, freaking doing the real work. Nothing, nada. No media touch him. I mean, it's unbelievable what we've turned into as far as, who's the media, really? On the YouTube, it's like the Moose video. They would have put in Feel Good Fairy Tales, but I shot the video of the dead. Nobody would have reported that Moose was even dead. You would never know that. Who's the media? It's like Black Lives Matter. They want to take all the credit. It was the girl with the video. That's who changed the world. For the YouTube camera is mightier than the sword. I don't believe in violence. Their silence is the violence. Here on the mighty Wasatch. How beautiful is it today? Oh my God, how beautiful is it today? Oh, but then we got to hear that all day, every day. The military industrialized pigs. So read through the numbers. Read through the numbers. This is such a... We counted 2,000 when there should be counting millions. 2,000. Oh, it's so great because last year we counted none. We counted none because it was COVID. I was there last year. You know, we found my grandsons. They're like little Lucky Charms. Everybody in Pacific Grove's got to know those two boys this year. You know, we've been there a couple times. You know, we go up to the Grove Market. He's so fantastic. You know, his food's so good. I remember we went up there one morning. I says, load up, boys. We're going to walk. My one grandson has a clicker on his thing. I mean, they're 10 going to Fukushima. He said, you know, we walked 20 miles today. I said, the only way I get you boys to go to sleep at night. You know, and wore out. The other grandson says, you know, I wore out a pair of boots. They had so much fun. You know, that cross Russ gave us. You know, I mean, because we're there and I know everybody. It's a community there. I know everybody there. They're at the market. We go up in the morning. I'm like, fuel up, boys. You fuel up. Camel up, fuel up, Ralph. Oh, yeah. Where do you want to eat today? Oh, market. Hurry, get home before the market closes. You know, get the hot food. I remember we go in there one morning, second day open. Them boys have got tubs of freaking mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese this big. And they're like out there on the bench, oh, you're seeing. And the old timer, you know, he's so great. He loves those kids. He's like, here, these are free for you guys. Thank you for all your work, Kev. And they're just sitting out there. I never seen smiles on their face like that. You know, they adore that place. Who doesn't? You know, the people there are great, you know. That athletics jersey, I'll post this picture that he's got on. He bought that at the thrift store that day. It's I mean, the juice glass bar, I mean. But then the media regurgitates it like this. It's a catastrophe. Go talk to anything PG. Walking from PG to PB. Walking from PB to PG. I have library cards up here. Let's go get the library cards out. I mean, this is important historic stuff. You know? I mean, the work that Kevin Blanch does, the marine biologist in the high desert of Utah. That's from inside the museum. So is that. You know? So is that. It's an important video. You know, I'm so kettled in. Our small army, you know, walking from PB to PG. Remember I used to go on my rant? Walking from La Jolla to PB, from PB to PG, which I literally did. I literally walked from PB, Pacific Beach, California, San Diego to PG, Monterey. You don't think that on the beach. Let's get Fearmonger radio off.
Device that's connected, because when your information.
So, I have library. I think they're in here. Did I put them in here or did I take them out? I don't know. I thought I put them in here. There's some of them. Oh yeah, my lucky $2 bill. God, I was looking for that the other day. This is just a few of my library cards. You know, because working the coast. New York City, I have that's my season pass to... There we go. It's my favorite. There's my Pacific Grove card. Right there, right there. The people that count. That's where they... The library's right there. The park's right there. That well that the kids play on. It's in front of the museum. We love that museum. It's our favorite. I mean, that museum's fantastic. I mean, that's just a few of them. That's Castroville. That's PB. That's Bolonzo, Italy. I got more. So, Feel Good Fairy Tale News. This is for Boober. I got this in the mail from him. I love those two colors together. That was when I owned Blanche Plastering. That was my color. So, I want you to read through this. Go talk to somebody in Pacific Grove. They don't talk like this. They don't say, oh, isn't it wonderful? They don't do that. They'll say it's a catastrophe. It's an ecological nightmare. Freaking, you know, I always talk to old Mary. She's 96, her and I have friends. You know, the thrift store, I'm like, hey, you know, I says, what about this? Hey, he says, oh, no, this kid's got taste, man. This thing's a rare gem. I says, you know how old he is? Go ask him how old he is. How old are you, sir? My grandson says, she says, well, I'm 96, and he's older than me. He says, I'm 98. My grandson, you know, we're trying to pass on the knowledge to the youth. We are. I never used extinction. I used genocide. But this is as close to extinction as you can get. But they did count a few. Oh, it's so wonderful, so great. Just like, oh, the tide bulls are coming. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. I work them constantly at low tide right there. I mean, I'm like, no, they're not. Why do you make up these lies? It's like cyclone bomb. Yeah, climate change, acute climate change post-Fukushima. Great, so everything's normal. Everything. No, it's not. Now, if you're not pissed off, if you're not angry, you're not awake. These kids are awake. There's my Big Sur shawl. Get your Big Sur shawl out. How cool is that? You know, Russ says, hey, you want to bring the boys up to the St. Francis? You know, he was the Carmel guy forever. You know, I slept there. Father Sierra's buried there. Oh, God, what stories he had. He gave my two grandsons sermons on the Mount like you never heard. We're in front of the albino redwood and having a picnic. We went right to the old inn. We walked right by. We didn't go in. And when it burnt down, freaking just a couple days later, the grandsons said, we'd like a piece of redwood is what we want to take home. I'll work on it while you guys go have your picnic. We had a picnic in front of the albino redwood. Shh, don't tell anybody. I was slipping those. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you lie. And now they're saying they want to cut down the 5,000-year-old trees in California. Oh, we got to protect the cars. What? You got to protect the car? What? Why don't you shut the road and protect the trees? You know, this acute catastrophe. Shut down the nuclear reactors. This is acute catastrophe. My work's proving it. This isn't freaking long-going climate. This is acute climate change. Heat bubble over the way. I mean, hello. Doesn't the reality, doesn't the truth just kettle it and hide it? Censor it? You know? Censor the truth? That's your answer? I mean, I do the work. I do the work. You know? I mean, even they're using that at the aquarium now. They're like, Code Patrick. Now my grandsons invented that when they find one. A real starfish. Code Patrick. Yo, that's my grandsons that did that. born the same month as the Fukushima. I mean, they love that place. They were playing in the park at the, little thing. There's some young girls there. And my grandson says, yeah, she told me that I'm so, but, I don't, how kids are. You don't even know your soup spoon from your dessert spoon. I'm like, oh, really? There's still some freaking wannabe elitists there. You read through this. They've dropped 99.99999999999%. But we found 2,000. We found none last year. Why'd they find none last year? It was COVID. That wasn't people out looking. I mean, these people are very, very old. They're smart. They knew. They're not going to congregate. Yes, this is how they freaking taint the truth. Just lies. They're in Fukushima denial. The media. People aren't. So we're walking back, and he says, I got you something. He says, see this? When I took over the St. Francis of the Redwoods, which was almost 40 years ago, it was in disarray. They gave me the keys, the monks. He says, I'm the one that brought the Pope here. There was a miracle inside the mission with the nuns. There was a few of these hanging around. This is the best one. I want the grandsons to have it. Really? You sure? Yeah. And he gave it to them. Very cool. The monks themselves carved that. Becomes his natural occupant. So Mary says to me, she says, you always quote Steinbeck, you always talk Ricketts, you always talk Flora, She says, I knew them all. I knew John Steinbeck personally. He was a real asshole. This place was so beautiful and pristine, Kevin. The natives, the indigenous people that were here, my family was Mexican when this was Mexico. They knew the gold was here. They're farmers. They didn't care. They had no use for it. And then they came across the Okies and the Yarkies and, Manifest Destiny on chemo, and the rest is history. She's 98. I mean, mind like a trap. But we're supposed to all just lay down and die now, young. Longevity started head south, and this is what we're going to go with. Very good, good news. There's my Big Sur shawl. Get your Big Sur shawl. Love this thing. Walk on the ocean, step on the shore, send her letters home. Sean, I love it. Got it at the thrift store for 50 cents. Come on. One man band Blanche, you still at it. So walking in 2015, I get to the Monterey Aquarium. I used to know everybody there. $50 where they want to charge kids? So outrageous. He says, there's the real aquarium right outside. We can go look right outside. Why do we need to pay $50? Well, let's go to the real ones right here. My grandkids know how to tide pool too. We don't go in tide pools. We don't step on it. We sure don't touch anything. We use our cameras. We take videos. We're not Doc Ricketts. We're not poachers. We love Doc Ricketts, by the way. And Flora. I'm a big Flora fan. She was born and raised in Carmel. Who's she? Now, the boys are too young to realize what Ricketts and Steinbeck was in. I can't talk to them about what it really was about. Shh. Read Cannery Row. That's my favorite book. I was there when right by the statues with the hat, when my nephew Caleb committed suicide. And he's named after that Caleb that Steinbeck wrote about in that masterpiece. Whoa, just read the end of it. Tim Shell, thou mayest. Whoa. That's where I was at when I got the horrible news. Standing right in front of the Steinbeck statue having a conversation with Flora. It's so outrageous. And these are long videos, I know that. But historically, it has to be recorded in history. I never used the word extinction. But if this isn't as close to extinction as you can get, the butterfly activists, they don't talk about those two in Mexico. They were both murdered in the last 2 years. Thrown down in the bottom of the wishing well. Uncle Tom's Cabin on Balco. Warrant, yeah. Aren't they from that area, Cherry Pie? Feels like heaven. Must have been asleep for days on the cliffs of Gorda. I sleep out at Gorda. That's my favorite place. Oh, gasoline's $8 a gallon out there. Shit, it's always $8 a gallon out there. There's nothing out there. It's the last freaking tourist trap. Huh. Threw their bodies into the wishing well. Me and Uncle Tom were down there. We saw what you did. I saw red when I opened up the door. I don't think I'm going to love any of the media anymore. Feel Good Fairy Tale News at 10. Film at 11. Who's really the media? Honestly. You're looking at him. The marine biologist in the freaking high desert of Utah. The wishing well. The two famous fighting in Butterfly, Mexico. That's where they come from. Were both murdered. They're trying to protect the butterfly forest and thrown into wish. Both of them murdered. That's what the headline should be. That's what we should be talking about. The annihilation of the activists. It doesn't just happen in Mexico. What about Kevin Blanch here in Utah? Think about the attempted firing squad at me. We, from the sea. I'll post that great photo. I love that photograph. My two grandsons there. Thank you at the museum for your incredible work. And, you know, the media just spins your work, but at least we're doing it, right? You're doing it. And, you know, this is how the media works. Doing the work and actual reality means nothing anymore. Truth means nothing anymore. We love that place. Walking from PB to PG, which I literally did. Let's get those one more. I like it. We're at your Martha Farm Elementary School now. Yeah, that's the old elementary. This is my favorite. That's Castroville. Whoa, whoa. Remember I used to sleep out there with the pickers? $25 to go into Point Loma to see dead tadpoles. And people line, oh, aren't they great? Oh, there we go. Here we go. Ooh, what's that smell? I think that's Pacific Grove. Or is it? I don't know. I got so many. Work matters. So I get into the aquarium. She's Kevin. I'm the ex-dean of biology at Los Angeles. I used to be a famous biologist, me and my husband. We volunteer at the aquarium. This is 2015. We've been waiting for you to get here. You're here. We just want to tell you that the Greys are birthing in Monterey. We go out in our little rowboat. What count? I says, oh no, they're not making it. They're inebriated. They're starving to death. What did this Upper California purple sea urchin say to the 60,000-pound well? Fukushima killed my food. The 60,000-pound humpback, the gray whale, the starfish sea, the Upper California purple urchin replied, we too. They're plankton feeders. Orcas, now they'll eat anything. They'll come eat the gray pups in Monterey Bay, which for the first time in history, none of the sea. We're going on the well. They won't even enforce the well enforcement. They're not supposed to get within several hundred yards of those animals, and they zip right up on them. I don't go out on those ships. They disgust me. I'll sit there old school on the edge and watch them spew. They're giving birth in Monterey Bay. If that wasn't for Kevin Blanch and her, she says, my son and daughter are both marine biologist chairs at major universities. We're on non-speaking terms because of Fukushima. They don't care. I says, they just fly around in their golden handcuffs in their glass houses. She says, you got it. We don't even talk. And my husband's an ex-marine biologist chair. I believe at Stanford. This is what's happened. So you're down. No wonder I've gone grassroots. So their answers just hide Kevin Blanch, kettle me. No one's kettled more than Kevin Blanch. And these are long videos, and I get it, but they're plastered in the library. You ain't got to watch them, you know, but somebody's going to want to watch them, you know, over time in history, like my grandkids' generation. We are. I tried so hard and got so far. We'll see in the end if it matters. Love you and PG. Thank you. Stand tuned.